Boom, boom, boom.
We inside.
Yo, long time. Yeah,
Good afternoon,
we
everyone.
we
Good
catch them off guard today.
afternoon,
Ha.
Lion. Good
Yeah.
afternoon,
Yo, yo.
Shamika.
Multi TV, radio, IRTC on the inside. Short notice, but sometimes we do it like this. Think what we going and deal with.
So we're gonna touch on some history. You know,
Right.
Emancipation Day is coming up,
True.
and when it's emancipation, people like to get into the Black Power and freedom
Yes,
and all these
yes.
different things.
Yeah,
So we're
man.
gonna just touch on some things that took place in our history. Yes, good
Great.
afternoon, Sonali.
Much love.
Good afternoon, Kyla.
Right.
Yes, so we're
So we're
gonna
gonna
just
show you guys some clips and then we will discuss it. We have Mike the man on the inside radio. IRTC. Remember his show is at 7. Mike, when is your show?
Yeah, we starting 8:30 tonight, and
Okay.
Patty LaBelle is in the house.
Nice. Tika. First clip,
yeah.
people. Take it in. Burn Team TV, man. Radio IRTC, man. Let's take a little look.
One
If
of
I
the most
walk.
trying times was 1970. You will recall the Black Power struggles.
We have to see revolution in the sense of you have to change the structure of power in the society. You have to change the oppression, the exploitation of people.
I would not live on that state where Geddes Granger at that time and Kafa Kambon and Clive Munez and people like that were going to be my cabinet.
The first act was when we decided to arrest the commanding officer.
When that was happening at Tetron, Camp Ogden was burned to the ground.
Shots were fired at us by soldiers.
Hmm. Tika, where's the
Yes,
energy I get from
yes.
that clip?
Well, I feel the war. I was feeling war from that. I didn't feel any peace at all.
I
There was
mean,
no peace.
Mike, weigh in on that 1970 because I know a lot of our listeners are young, and that 1970, it was on UWI's campus when they were kicking against, certain people putting themselves in places that brought the people back to being oppressed, as opposed to allowing fairness in cabinets and that kind of thing. And they stood up for rights, human rights, and all the rights that we hear now, slash COVID, pre and post COVID. What's your view?
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, I think for me, it was the worst moment of my life. I was living in Belmont at that time, and
Right.
good thing my heart was strong. That same evening, I
Yeah.
was walking across the savannah, Queen's Park
Right.
Savannah, heading to the stadium to watch Trinidad play. Remember it had football that day?
Yeah.
And while walking, reach the cemetery by the savannah, I hear this loud boom. The whole place shake.
Right.
Want to know what's going on? Only because to see smoke, walked a little bit, then saw set of police vehicles coming the opposite direction, wrong the savannah.
Right.
Only to realize what was going on. And people in the stadium didn't have a clue. All my friends said when they look more to the east, or more, actually it was by TTT. So it's bugging me more to the left hand side of the mountain, they saw smoke. Listen,
Right.
I don't want to experience anything like that again. Trust me. Trust
Chika,
me.
what's your view? Are we seeing that history kind of repeats itself? So we're talking about 1970, and now we're gonna go into 1990. Chika, what was your view in the sense of the information that came to you about the coup? Because when, I mean, I was around at that time, and the information back then is totally different to what we gonna hear now, eh?
Yeah,
Because before it only had one TV station,
yeah, yep.
so it was easy to
TTT.
control information. So
Yeah.
we are on the coup. So
But
it's emancipation.
you know what's the important thing in this? With
Yeah,
all of this, normally when you're having a coup in a country or takeover,
yeah,
you're tackling the media and you're
yeah.
going to the airport. You know,
Right.
they never got the opportunity to get to the airport, right?
So as I always say, there are three sides to a story:
Always.
your story, the other person's story,
Mm-hmm.
and the overall story.
Mm-hmm.
So when
The
I was
truth.
younger,
When I was
right?
here,
When I was younger, Chica, yeah,
taking
I
baby milk.
I lived yeah, I lived in that situation, and we only had the information that was given to us from TPP.
Yeah,
Now we are far more advanced in collecting information and coming up with our own vibration.
yeah.
Chica, what is your view? What is the information you got from the coup?
Well, of course, you'll hear about the main man, the one who was in charge of leading the
Mm-hmm.
coup, Abu Bakr. And I mean, he would have been, because of what it is he did, he definitely has been going through the rest of his life as the one who tried to overthrow the nation. Now, I had the opportunity to actually meet him, right? And the
Right.
man was real cool. If I didn't hear anything about the coup and nobody was talking about it, I would doubt to know that is the man.
Well,
That is to tell you how it
in
is.
my basketball days when we were under 19 basketball, that gentleman as well were one of the first set of businessmen that sponsored the team. They were very much involved in youth and encouraging positivity. Yeah. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
hear. Remember, so I get from TTP, the Prime Minister, members of cabinet at the time, and then the
Mm-hmm.
first
And I get
reporters.
it real watered down because I wasn't
So,
even around.
Yeah.
so we're going on here from the man himself why it went down. Because I only get TTP and from what the news reporters tell me. So now we have the internet. So we're going to show you guys what the man was saying. Roll the drums. My
I've been charged for murder. I've been charged for conspiracy to murder. I've been charged for treason. I've been charged for terrorism. I've been charged for guns and ammunition. Nothing has stuck because they just fabricated all these cases against me.
We keep talking about 1990, 1990. How would you describe that to someone who never heard about what happens?
We were cleaning up the drug trade, right? And, excuse me. And the government ministers was found in the airport by a woman police officer with all these drugs. I mean, I'm not talking about 10 kilos, a substantial amount of drugs. These ministers, right? And she came to us and told us that the government is planning to kill her. So I said, well, why would the government kill you? She was working with the narco section in the airport, of course in plain clothes, not in uniform, and stumbled onto them with all this cocaine. So then she tried to get this matter addressed by the commissioner of police and everybody, and nobody wanted to take her and say, "You crazy, this is the Attorney General, the Minister of National Security, the advisor, and the Major Thompson from the Army, and this is ridiculous. We can't report these people." And then finally she came to us. 4 days after she came to me and complained about this matter, they created a mock battle at Chagaramas. And she was sitting in a bus, and one of the police officers in the bus shot her in her head and killed her. 4 days before they killed her, she came to me and told me the people who were in the VIP room, the people I just called and told you. So after I exposed that, then they unleashed the state machinery on me and occupied my land, and then every Friday I couldn't have any peaceful prayer. They would destroy the things until finally it come to the court and I arrested them and charged them for the murder, and that's the coup. That was what the coup was about. We arrested them. They said it was wrong and we could make this a settlement, and so they wrote an amnesty. They betrayed it, but after 2 years it went to the Privy Council and then we were let up. After 1990, the authorities destroyed everything while we were in prison. They bombed all the things, everything. They just destroyed literally everything except the mosque, right? And the man was driving the tractor up to the mosque and it overturned and almost killed him. That's why he didn't destroy the mosque.
Since 1990, there's been a lot of scapegoating of you as of some sort of bogeyman for what's sort of happening in Trinidad right now. I mean, do you feel like you've been targeted by the officials here?
Since 1990, I've been charged for murder. I've been charged for conspiracy to murder. I've been charged for treason. I've been charged for terrorism. I've been charged for guns and ammunition. Nothing has stuck because they just fabricated all these cases against me. So that is not prosecution, that is persecution.
And we're hearing a lot now that the narco trade here is ramping up a lot.
Yes,
is it coming
course.
from? Is it coming from politicians? Is it coming from business people? Where is it coming from?
Everybody's involved. Everybody's involved. Everybody, the police, everybody's involved. The Coast Guard, everybody's involved. Our next one neighbor, 7 miles, is Venezuela. And then right next to Venezuela is Colombia. And right here, this is the transshipment point.
I mean, the other thing that we're looking into that's contributing to
where have you been in Trinidad since you're here?
Port of Spain, we were in Lebantil, we were at the university, we were in Beetham, we were in John for a little bit.
You didn't see nothing? Go and look at the affluence in Trinidad, and you know in Brooklyn you can find the affluence that exists in Trinidad nowhere.
And you think it's all coming from the drug trade?
All of it, yeah. All, not part, but all.
All of it?
Yeah. How else? What are you talking about?
So then, I mean, it seems like it's very easy for the government then to blame the kids in John and Beetham, and that's why they're going in there.
Listen, you have sense, I'm sure. You are insulting my intelligence. Yeah? A drug dealer will live in Beetham. Drug dealers live in sprawling mansions with swimming pools and cars, and you've been in John. Have you seen any sprawling mansions in John? You seen any swimming pools in John? You seen any lavish cars? Come on now. Come on. Don't insult my intelligence. You know that. You know how drug dealers live? Sprawling mansions.
They live well.
Yes, of course. So that's why I say go to the other parts of Trinidad and see how those people live in, and you want to know 1.3 million people, where is money coming from? I mean, what is selling to make this money?
But at the same time, though, you do have, I mean, we're looking into the fact over the past 15 years, the murder rate in Trinidad has gone through the roof.
Yes, that is true.
And what's to blame for that?
Well, part of it is poverty. Mm-hmm. I mean, poverty leads to disbelief, right? And when people don't have any belief in anything at all, whether it be spirituality or they don't have any guidance or anything, they operate according to how they see. I mean, when a lion kills a deer to feed its children, the lion is never charged for murder. So, I mean, when a man can't feed his children and he commits, what do you want him to do?
But there was poverty 20 years ago, you know, and there's poverty now. But you didn't see 500 murders a year 20 years ago. Now you see 500 murders a year.
I was in charge.
Oh, because you were in charge.
I'm telling you, I was in charge. Mm-hmm. 20 years ago, before 1990, I was in charge of the ground. And when I came out of prison, I left it and I say, I'm telling you what happened. There was just a commission of inquiry, right? They asked the prime minister in the commission of inquiry. This was the question posed directly to him by the chairman. What was your problem, Mr. Chairman, with Abu Bakr and the Jamaat al-Muslimin? And he said they were playing police. That was his answer, that we were playing police. Of course, I don't know, I was playing what I was. I used to be a police officer for 10 years, right? So I wasn't playing police, I am a police.
After you go to jail, what happens? You lose power of the streets?
No, we just left it.
You just left the streets?
We left it. We say, that's where you want? Well, we left it. And that's what's the problem now. We left it.
Who's controlling it right now?
Controlling what?
Who's controlling the streets?
It's out of control because all the young people just come up after them who don't have the experience of the streets, who didn't have the will, the control. I mean, and a lot of the people who were the community leaders were people who were in our organization. We control the streets.
And there were people in their community that were dealing drugs, so you cast them out.
Yeah, they are dealing drugs, yes. Some people in those communities, they're dealing drugs. I mean, yeah. And of course, we are opposed to that. But we are not at war with those people.
No, you're not at war. I'm saying the breakaway factions.
Right. Yes, people, that's part one of it.
Oh my, Mike.
Yeah, I listening.
That is why they can't lock up the man.
You see, we had to be balanced, and we can't point fingers because. Whatever went on is higher than what we thinking.
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
I want you to understand that the man say, you ever see any swimming pool in Georgia?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone will look at the situation differently because of their experiences. You know, if they were affected directly, their family members may have been killed during that time. So some persons may have understood Abu Bakr's reason for what it is he did, and some may not understand why it is he did what he did. They will say, some say, leave it in the hands of the Most High, right? They will say he take justice into his own hands. I mean, because when you're looking at it, the people at the top with the money are the ones who bring in the drugs.
You hear the ministers that this man called is who wield the power of a lot of...
Yes, they are the ones bringing it in. Yes, so we have Sonali saying Abu Bakr is actually a very generous person, a community man.
Yeah. So, Mike, we will touch base on what you just see. We can leave it like this, because, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, if in truth and in fact, the Privy Council could have keep him for life.
Well, that's what.
Where's the way?
Well, that's what I said. This thing here, the coup, you remember in 1970, there was a reason, right?
Yeah.
I was in that because I was living in Barta at that time when that happened.
Right.
Normally when a coup takes place in a country, there's a reason for it taking place.
Right.
And things like this, we don't point fingers at only governments. Sometimes we have to look at people also outside of government.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
The people who will do stuff like this, like for instance, and that said it was the Muslim in Jamaat and Muslim, right? So they got branded. He got branded because a lot of people thought it was wrong. For me, yes, it was wrong. But we have to look at the situation, what led it to the coup. Same thing with 1990. There was a situation that led to 1970 coup. Exactly.
So my question is, if we look at the flow of time, 70, 80, 90, 20 years, right? 20, we're coming up. Is history repeating itself in a different form? Because now we have COVID-19. And we saw that it had some protests against the vaccine and stuff today. I mean, it was today or this week.
Yes,
people protesting and stuff. I'm not really seeing it coming across in mainstream TV. I don't know if it'll come across in the news. But what I have noticed with these issues is only all right. 1970 was cleared up later on. The people who were inside that 1970 scenario, it still felt like a coup. When Abu Bakr 1990 issue came about, it was a coup. And now we're seeing this COVID-19, and it is now creating a kind of rift with society. And
Well,
is it that
well,
we see in history repeating itself in the form now of this vaccine? Because I mean, before it was drugs and government and politics and control. But to me, it's the same scenario. You
um,
know?
I wouldn't say yes, and I wouldn't say no, because we have to look at the two situations. This has to
Yeah,
do something with health, a
yeah,
virus, whereas what we had the two coups, it had something
yeah.
to do with people against the governments, right?
So now
I say,
we pay attention to the riots in New York. I mean, it was with Floyd,
look at
right?
France,
Comment
look
section,
at
Tika,
France, France too.
Tika,
But
comment section.
yeah, France too.
Yeah,
In France,
Yeah.
with the protests, they protesting against the vaccine and,
yeah.
and making it mandated. They're still protesting. So,
Comment section.
yeah,
Alright, so we have Rihanna saying that Abu Bakr is a people's person and that he's for facts and for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, I want to tell now a lot of people, all right, up, hey, Trevor G on the inside. This is kind of topic, boy. Yeah, big up yourself, Trevor. Feel free to wail on the vibration.
yeah,
Now,
Trevor.
where I from, as a youth growing up, I personally, when Abu Bakr spoke about he used to control the streets, he was correct. Because in my area where I'm from, when the drugs and the violence got out of hand, we used to see the Jamaican Muslims. Now, I ain't saying this is what I used to see with my eyes. I am not saying nothing based on any review or video. I'm talking about where I grew up. Anytime the violence got to a point, we used to see the Jamaican Muslim in the area, and then after that, it didn't have no bacchanal. They used to do a better job than the police service. I telling you what I've seen because the police just used to and go, come and go. Who dead, to take a report and they go back in the station. I talking about what I have gone through. I ain't talking about what people see, right? I have seen the Jamaat came in my area at a point in time when it had some certain menaces in the area and they had them kneel down on the line. And they didn't use a gun. This was the first time I ever actually saw people instill fear without using a weapon. They came down with whips
Yeah.
and you had to understand something. For people to come into that area that have guns with no gun and command a certain level of order, I have never seen it from the police service with all the guns.
But do you think
Yeah?
that at that time, you guys at your age trusted the Jamaat more than the police?
Yes. Because the reason why is because of what we saw going on. Because as he said, everybody's involved. And the interesting thing is, as you watch movies with drug dealers, you don't see them living in shanty towns. They don't live on the line. They don't live in Hickam. They don't live in John John. The guys who making the real cream in the drug trade, they have the best houses in the best lots of land in the poshest places in the world. This is a worldwide thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tika, with the view.
Yes, it is. And in terms of us going to draw relation to COVID-19 right now and the vaccine, right? Now, there are persons who would have said that they are not taking the vaccine for many different reasons.
Yeah,
And because persons, and I don't even think it has a matter to do with anything with health,
yeah,
is the fact that they feel that they don't have their human rights are being taken away from them. That's how people feel during this time.
right.
It had SOE, curfew, persons losing their jobs. So they felt that
Yeah.
their human rights were taken away from them. And I think
Right.
that's really the issue. And even though they say that the vaccine isn't mandatory, it still seems as if it is mandatory. They wouldn't come out and say it is
Yeah,
mandatory,
yeah,
right? The
yeah.
government, private sector, it doesn't matter. They
Mhm.
wouldn't come out and say that. But based on what is being told to us each and every day,
Yes.
forget about no, it's handled with the three W's. Everything in here now it's vaccinate. Vaccinate
Yeah,
to operate and all these different
yeah.
things.
And
So
Mike,
persons
yeah, go ahead.
are fearful, right? And because when
Mhm.
persons are in fear, it's either flight or fight. And
Yes,
we are
and that's
coming
my
in a
point.
yes, so
Yeah,
we are coming in a situation where persons are actually willing to fight. They
yes,
can't run and go
yes,
anywhere.
yes,
So we don't know what will happen in a few days or what,
yeah.
but persons right now they have a spirit of fighting. All right, so we
Comment
have
section.
Sonali. You see the reason why they would have done a better job than the police is because they relate. They come down to the level thinking of these men and uplift them without chastising them and making them feel less than.
Baby poo.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that's true.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
but you know, we need to say too, when it comes to education, because I totally agree with Chika was saying. But when it comes to education of everything that's happening, is it that the majority of the people in Trinidad and Tobago educating themselves to all what's happening around the world so that there would be this less thought of fear? Because
yeah,
every day you open the papers, you go on Facebook, any social
yeah. Fear
platform.
mongering, fear mongering.
Exactly. So is
Yeah,
it now we should say to people, maybe you need to educate yourself about exactly what's
yeah.
happening? What do you think,
And we
Chica?
will keep, we should keep the pulse on that, Chica. But go ahead.
Yeah. So people, it doesn't matter what is placed on the news. My observation thus far is that it could have more good news than bad news, and people it might have out of 10, there's 9 good news and 1 bad news, and people gonna take that 1 bad and run with it.
Yeah,
It's like if it didn't have 9 good things happening,
yeah.
Right?
right?
What we
That's
seeing
my
when
observation right now. And people are really, really fearful. They may say they're not fearful, you know, but it is
they
fear.
are afraid, they are afraid. So what I'm seeing in a trend, the reason why I started from 1970 and then we go to 1990, now we in 2021, is that the trend, anytime people feel that their human rights are being violated, they stand. It might start peaceful, and what happens, what I've realized in the trend from 70 to 90 is the heavy hand of the government comes down and people rebel. So this is the trend of our history in Trinidad. So we're not saying, but when we look at the trend, is that anytime civil or human rights is being impressed upon and the heavy hand comes out, it is met with rebellion. Comment section.
All right. Yo, these long comments there. Turn my eye. So we have Upright Chevy. He
Yeah,
saw
man,
a
take your time.
recent 5-man police escorted march to Port of Spain couple days ago. It looks like we need a proper peaceful coup in TNT. He's saying to kick out the main parties, right? I'm not calling names. We all know the two
We
main
not involved
parties
in
in
that. We not
TNT.
involved in that.
And he's saying that they are playing dictators as well. Looks like we need a proper dictator government who can run the nation fairly.
All right, let me
Right? We
add
have
something before you go on.
just
Before you go on.
I could read
Yep.
the next comment and then you'll
No,
go.
no,
Next
no, no,
comment.
no.
Next comment.
Let me no, hold on. We need to put a disclaimer and let people know that those views are the views of the persons who are sending the messages, not
Yes.
of Burn Team and Radio Irie. So that's a disclaimer we put in. So we have to be very careful. I believe in being professional. This is what we're doing. We give people freedom to say what they want, but we put in a disclaimer. So those views were the views of Trevor G and not of
Yes.
Burn Team and Radio
Not
Ivy.
a burn team and Radio
Yes.
Ivy. Yes,
Comment
and
section.
thanks, Mike. Yes. So Rihanna is saying I'm working at a site for vaccine. So she's at a vaccination site, and she's saying that people are coming in their numbers. And she's also saying it's true what Chika said, which is me. And people have to also be educated, about the vaccine. Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of, and what people, it's like people forget the amount of vaccine they take in the past. I realize
Right. So
people
right. So
don't forget.
we just want to show one more of the clip with the man himself because I believe in listening to all sides of the story, the other side, and the middle. Right? Three sides to a
Right?
coin.
Mm-hmm. So
So you
Trevor
have a
is
comment there
saying
from
it's
Trevor, right?
obvious. It's my view, Mike. Like it's right now.
No, Trevor G. Let's get it straight. I do radio. It's nothing but being frightened. Once I am on the radio, I am entitled to put a disclaimer to whatever people say. So it's nothing but being frightened. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know we's friends.
Right? Love in the house, all. Let me get it thing with love. We're doing it with love.
That broke away from here that you cast
Part
out.
two.
They're the ones that seem to have taken a little bit of control in these neighborhoods.
Some of them, yeah, because they were taught by me how to be leaders. So obviously, if they're in the community, they will be the leaders.
And as a former police officer, how do you feel about the police right now in Trinidad, how they're doing?
There are too many extrajudicial killings. There are too many, much too many. But you see, before 1990, I was up against the police for that very said reason, right? And after 1990, it slowed down. Now it's gone out of hand. But it tells you something about the governance of the country, right? If you are a parent in your house, the more control you have over your children is the less discipline you will need to control them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you are running your home properly, your children don't need to be disciplined. You don't need laws every week, new restrictions for them, new curfews for them, because your home is being run properly as a parent, and you're looking after your wife and your children. But if you're not running your home properly, you're in trouble, because every week now your children are getting in problems and you have to keep making new law. You can't come in after this time, you have to do that. You start cutting them restrictions and things like that. And then if you think as a parent that they're not listening, you resort to physical kind of thing for the discipline. Me, I don't do that. I've never hit my wives, and I don't hit my children. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in corporate. I am a lover man. I am, ask anybody in Trinidad, I am the man.
Me too.
I am the man with all the girls. The girls love me. Eh?
So are you worried about the future for what you see in this country right now, in this city, for these young people, about what's going on here, that it seems like it's getting more and more out of control every year?
Every day. No, every year. It's definitely getting out and out of control. I mean, and they've gone beyond that, because now young women are not safe, young women are being raped and things like that, so it's gone beyond that. The respect that we used to have for elderly people and things like that, all that is part of the problem. It's a holistic problem. It's not just a question of having money, it's a holistic problem, and it has to be addressed in that manner, holistic. It has nothing to do with the shortage of money in the country, It has nothing to do. We give you 67% of your natural gas. You, the big monolith America, 67% of your natural gas. You know how much money that is?
So where's it going?
Until you take a drive and look and see where it's going.
Because it's not going to John, it's not going to 11-2.
No, it's not going to none of the depressed areas. So are we getting better or are we getting worse? It's getting worse every day. And it's going to explode. It's a natural phenomenon, that this place is going to explode. It's on a timber box. It's only waiting now to the thing. You lived in America, yeah?
Yeah.
You know police beat black people every day in America, right?
Yeah.
One day, however, there was a lot of dissatisfaction in Los Angeles. You know, the place was saturated with dissatisfaction.
King, yeah.
Yeah, and one day somebody just beat a black man in Los Angeles, and the place was torched because the place was saturated with discontent, right? But every day police just beat people in America, black people, and it don't happen because it's not saturated with discontent.
But here right now.
Now it is saturated with discontent. Anybody tell you it's otherwise? Who is content? There's nobody, even the rich and the affluent. They are not happy. They live behind, they're in jail, of course, because they live behind bars. And they know that this thing is going to explode. They know, everybody. They know it's going to explode. What they don't know is what's going to happen when it explodes.
If this tinderbox blows up, I mean, what role do you see for yourself?
Not me, I'm not a politician. I told you I'm a priest, man. How much time I'll tell you that?
But someone like you, this sort of leader who holds communities together, is something that these people desperately need. Now, and more than ever, if things reach a tipping point and there's just chaos and anarchy in the streets.
You see, my problem is I cannot go to the people and say, vote for me. That is my problem. If the people says, you know, if you go back, you have no Jewish in your issue?
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah, you had to, looking at your nose, you had to ask some Jews, although you know it has some black Jews, eh?
Yeah.
The Falasha Jews, yeah.
Ethiopians,
Falasha, they're Jews because it's 12 brothers.
It's one of the tribes.
Yeah,
Ethiopia.
12 tribes, yeah. So Joseph was the last, Joseph and Benjamin had a different mother. And that's why they sold Joseph into slavery, but Joseph is the man who rescued Egypt, yeah? So that's my forte, as a priest, remember that. My responsibility is to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. In the end, they will judge me. How I interact with everyone in Trinidad and Tobago is how I will be judged on the day of judgment when I come before God, but not before a few men who somebody want to appoint. And that will include you too, because I don't know what you're going to do with this film, but you know, you've now become part of my life and I'm part of your life. So you and I, on the day of judgment, when we come up before God, you say, well, you know, I make both of you. I'm your creator, you know.
I'll put in a good word for you.
Huh?
I'll put in a good word for you.
I would appreciate that. And I will reciprocate.
Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Nice seeing you, man.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Listen.
Yeah.
Abu Bakr is a different type of individual. Different. In spite of the man. You see that interview? You see I sit back and listening to that man interaction.
Tell me what it is I take away from that.
Humbleness.
Tika.
Humility.
Comment section.
So we have Rihanna asking, what about kids who don't obey their parents and follow the rules in the household? There's Rihanna.
You're talking about that. I talk to the man who talk about discipline around any household properly. Yeah. What I'm saying, the man say, Mike, this was after the coup, right? This interview was after the coup when he got out of jail. So 67% of the United States natural gas is produced by Trinidad and Tobago. You know how big the States is? Mike, that's after the coup, when the man come out of jail, we producing 67% of the United States natural gas. And we are poverty,
Again.
So, only listen to that figure, boy.
Yeah,
you hear that figure?
Yeah, but
that natural gas alone, you know, Mike, that natural gas alone.
Yeah.
67%, you know. And what the United States need, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad and Tobago, this little country, you know. 1 point something million. Are we a problem? Anyhow, Chica, let me wrap up this thing. I know Mike talk about the show. Tomorrow is Beefy Friday, so Chica run the yard.
Hey, how I get my burger?
Don't worry, go fix that. I want you watch it. What you will got that, G? Don't worry.
It's a Beefy Friday. Grab a hearty and healthy beef burger and fries that is freshly prepared just for you by Burn Team Meals. Just WhatsApp 346-8730 to place your order. And we're gonna have a very beefy Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we closing off with a tune by Natasha Wilson called Sweet
Nice. I'm a
TNT.
girl, you know. I'm a girl, you know.
I love. Yeah, and I think it's the appropriate song because
Yeah.
this topic this evening was good. In spite of and stuff like this, history stuff like this, we need to do a lot because remember, it's not only for us; it's for the next generation that coming up also.
Yeah.
Because
That's why I started from 1970.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
1990. Now we in 2021.
Yeah. You talking about how much it is?
Yeah. Yeah, check. Do the numbers. Comment section and we out mic run some music, Chica.
Yeah, so
we
could be playing.
Alright, so Nali's saying, then shouldn't this country be rich? The tropical United Emirates?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we good, Chica. Take we out. We good. Bird Team TV. Big up yourself. Radio IVCC.
And see you tomorrow for Real Talk.
Well, yeah, Bacchanal tomorrow. Bacchanal. We good.
Hey, it's your girl Chica G. And Burn Team TV is where we bring the vibes.
Burn Team TV is about merging
the information on our holistic health and fitness.
Online lives with basic unconventional raw nutrition services, giving it a TV effect while streaming live.
You don't know.